Ahoy there, ain't there the captain here. Welcome to the Captain's Arcade. This time around we're playing Big League Slugger Baseball for the PS1. And it was published by Agetec, the same company that brought you Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, as well as RPG Maker and Fighter Maker. You literally let your imagination roll wild. That's the big thing that I love about Agetec. But unfortunately it's no more. But what's even more unfortunate is that I wasn't introduced to this game sooner. A good friend of mine introduced me to this game sometime last year, right when COVID started, and boy was he ever right about this recommendation over here. So I can't thank him enough here. All right, this time around we have the Nevada Sundogs taking on the Indiana Robins, and the Nevada Sundogs consists of Rollerjam alum, which was a roller derby show that aired from 1999 to 2001 on TNN, back when TNN was slowly but surely phasing out of their country music scene and going into more variety. And TNN, of course, was later known as Spike TV, and now it's Paramount Television, if I remember correctly. And the Indiana Robins, consists of big name acapella personnel from Pentatonic, String Chaser, Home Free to Street Corner Symphony. And that's the thing about Big League Slugger Baseball. You literally get to let your imagination roll wild. You get to create your own logos, create your own teams, create your own lineups, create your own players. Like, your options are truly endless, as the tagline would say in Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. And we need another baseball game like this, because with better updates better updates, because you literally get to let your imagination roll wild, which is what I did back in the day when I was growing up. So without further ado, let's do this here. Let's see which starter I should start with. What about the White Pony, Eric Slopey? Part of the California Quakes. By the way, I hope everyone's having a great Friday night wherever you are. I know I am. Our Friday nights consisted of Rollerjam and video games rented from the local video store. You're here, I'm here. Let's do this! I get to square off against acapella personnel. Big names in acapella. Kirsty Maldonado start things off. Yeah, Eric Slopey was part of the California Quakes. He was one of the many reasons why I was a big California Quakes fan. But the biggest reason was because of the late great Sean Atkinson. Passed away in 2019, unfortunately. Struck out Kirsty. See what Mitch Grassi has in store. Have such great memories of Rollerjam. And like I said, Rollerjam was basically WWE meets roller derby. In addition to roller derby, they had like storylines and gimmick matches, if you would. Back-to-back strikeouts. Let's see what the base Tim Faust does. Tim Faust of Home Free. I've always admired him, me being the base myself, and he hits a homer. The Robins have drawn first blood. And the reason why I chose the names, the Nevada Sundogs and the Indiana Robins, is because in terms of the Nevada Sundogs, I'm combining the two teams, the Nevada Hot Dice and the Florida Sundogs. And Amanda Hertz being the manager of the Nevada Hot Dice, focusing more on advertising and looks rather than skills. Whereas the Sundogs, the Florida Sundogs, were managed by the Loeb brothers. They had that classic old school kind of feel. Alright. Robin Strand 1. The reason why I chose the Indiana Robins is because Straight No Chaser originated at the University of Indiana, excuse me. And I chose Robins as the, I guess, because why not? Birds sing, and I just wanted to have a kind of like a Baltimore Orioles kind of feel. Jonathan Lister will be the starter for the Robins. Jonathan Lister of Street Corner Symphony. Sees the 2 runners up the sing-off. Speaking of which, I wish the sing-off was back on the air because that was the best singing competition out there. Better than Idol, better than Voice. Because you're relying on your teammate, your bandmates, because it's 100% acapella. I love acapella. I've been a huge fan of acapella for as long as I can remember. And groups like Pentatonics and Noda and Committed inspired me to start an acapella group of my own. And how fortunate for me that on May 30th, 2019, I went to my first Pentatonics show. I consider Pentatonics basically the Beatles of acapella because they take acapella to a whole new level. There's even a convention named after them. Pentacon, if I remember correctly. Strikeout. Lindsey Francis is on board. Bill Barker struck out, Stacey Bush struck out, and now let's see what Big Nasty Tim Washington can do. And I saw Home Free in concert 4 times. I think it's 4 times. Maybe it was 3 times, yeah. I saw them at the concert when they were at the Carolina Theater of Greensboro. And I saw them twice during the Timeless Tour. And once again at the Dive Bar. So yeah, that's, that 4 times, yeah. 4 times. It was a Dive Bar Christmas tour. Now all the groups are getting ready to go back on board, and bands are starting to get ready to go back on tour. But unfortunately for Pentatonics, they gotta wait another year because they stopped on the European leg of the Pentatonics World Tour. PTX the World Tour. And speaking of which, speaking of COVID, speaking of delays, just want to send a big our thoughts and prayers go out to those that have been affected the most, especially Brazil and India. Our prayers are with you. And I just want to send big kudos to all the essential workers, especially the hospital workers that have been working nonstop. My hat goes out to all you guys. Man, I saw the footage of the of India coping with COVID, and it's not a pretty picture at all. None whatsoever. Alright, we got Mark Webber, part of the X-Men of the Hot Dice. And of course his partner in crime was Jason McDaniel. They remind me so much of a combination of Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. And it's a good thing for me that they're keeping this tradition alive over here in terms of Rollerjam, keeping the memories of Rollerjam alive, because I'm part of this Facebook group of Rollerjam where I get to socialize with the fans and the alum, and they're like the hippest people you'll ever meet, man. every now and then there's like a Zoom meeting that we have. And just want to send a big special shout out to Bill Crane and for keeping that tradition alive with the Beyond the Jam. The name of the podcast / Zoom meetings is called Beyond the Jam, and there's episodes on there. The first 2 episodes are on YouTube right now. Abrahammer knocking it home, 2-run shot. Yeah, the Abrahammer. She's one of my favorites. The Minister of Pain, if you would. The White Pony, Eric Slopey. I used to do that move. I used to do that move all the time wherever I went to. Even in school, from school dances to over in gym. One of the I was on the second episode of Beyond the Jam, and based on what Broadway Danny Wolf said, he said that there was at one point that Vince McMahon tried to buy Rollerjam. I mean, imagine how the Invasion storyline would be. I mean, you got WWF, WCW, ECW, and then Rollerjam. Imagine how that would be. I bet they would. I bet Jason McDaniel and Mark Webber would steal the show right then and there because like I said, they remind me so much of Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. Combination of the two. Imagine them getting in feud. Man, this would be a huge mark out to the fullest. Another thing that Danny Wolf mentioned was that Danny Wolf being the sideline reporter for Rollerjam, based on what he said, the day that Vince McMahon signed with TNN was the day that Rollerjam was canceled in early 2001. He basically used TNN, now Spike TV, which then TNN/Spike TV for just to elevate his product, just to elevate WWF. And they were on like that for a year, and they went back to USA. But what more can you do? I'll get the lead runner. Scott Hoying. Which March 3rd, 2019 will be the day I'll never forget. There's a VIP with a package with for upgrade. Got a chance a lifetime to meet the Beatles of Acapella Pentatonics. It was like meeting Acapella royalty right there. They were so nice, so genuine. I even drew pictures of them as Power Rangers. I mean, picture that. Mighty Morphin Pentatonics. Go, go, Pentatonics! Imagine Avi being the 6th Ranger. Now that will be interesting over there. And hopefully that those drawings can give them inspiration of maybe collaborating on them on the supposed second reboot, if you would, because the 2017 one wasn't all that great, unfortunately. They had a 6-movie deal and everything, but they're making another attempt as we speak, supposedly. Imagine imagine Avi being the 6th Ranger, being the Green Ranger, the evil Green Ranger. But yeah, I mean, see right now, I'm literally letting my imagination run wild over here. And going back to Agetec real quick, they, as I said before, that they are the creators of, they're the publishers of Pro Wrestling Returns. You get to use your imagination there. RPG Maker, you get to use your imagination there. and Fighter Maker, which you can use your imagination there. So maybe one of these days I'll pick up those games and literally let my imagination run wild. I have Fire Pro Wrestling Returns in my collection and don't play that much nowadays, but one of these days I'll pick it back up and let my imagination run wild like I did when I was growing up. Might as well make a rainbow with my hands. Imagination. Hannah Rozak of Citizen Queen. Started off on Idol and The Voice, and now she's part of an a cappella group, basically a female version of Pentatonics. Even though lately that they've been going outside of a cappella, going outside the box, if you would. Oh. Thought I was going to make a dive there. The catcher, Jeremy Lister, founder of Street Corner Symphony. Right now they're making, Street Corner Symphony is making a children's album. One of these days I ought to help them with funding, if you would, because right now I think they have some sort of funding page. You can check them out on their website and their Facebook pages. And before I forget, the next Zoom meeting that they're going to be having for Beyond the Jam, the Rollerjam alum, is going to be on June 5th, if I remember correctly. Let me double check here. Yes, June 5th, Saturday, June 5th. It's going to be starting at nighttime. And if you want to take part of that and meet some of the fans and the alum, feel free to hit me up. Because like I said, I have such great memories of Rollerjam. And there's episodes online, or episodes on YouTube, so that you can binge watch, even though not every episode's on there. My favorite female from Rollerjam. I had tons of favorites. I said Janet Abraham, Stacy Blitch of the Quakes, Jamie Conamack. She was basically the blonde, the ditzy, I guess you could say, Hugger Bailey of her time, if you would. And on top of the list, Lindsey Francis, the Golden Girl, Lindsey Francis. She was with the Rustlers. Had the distance, but it's well foul. She started off with the Sundogs, then later on with the Texas Rustlers, and then back to the Sundogs. And then at one point, the Prophet storyline was part of the Enforcers? ? I'm not sure if she was ever. But I know that she was part of the Enforcers at one point, but I know that she was captured by the Prophet. Yeah, I gotta go back and watch that episode. But my favorite moment from my favorite Lindsey Francis moment would have to be the when Scott Smith, formerly known as Lord Scott Patterson, popped the question to her right before the evening gown strip up, which is basically the bra and panties of Rollerjam. You know how back in the day, divas back in the 2000s, they had bra and panties matches. That was basically like that. And he popped the question, and she said yes. She was like, I don't know what to say. Yes. And it was Janet Abraham that married them off, if I remember correctly. And there is Lindsey Francis, the girl we were just talking about. Can she stretch it out? She can. She's in there. The Ninfield single. Bill Barker, Captain America. Was it in wrestling? I think it was in wrestling at one point. There goes Lindsey, going to the going to third. Burns at the corners. With one gone, in steps Malibu Stacy Butch. Yeah, Stacy Butch has got to be in my top. Yeah, got to be in my top 5, if you would, as my favorite female skaters. Thought I was gonna catch it. Had me fooled. See if I can let Tim Washington do some damage here. There was another show, roller derby show that here back in 89 and 90 called Roller Games, and a lot of the Rollerjam alum were part of the, at least 3 of them were part of Roller Games. It's called, yeah, the name of the show was called Roller Games, and it was basically roller derby, but it had like, it was like a figure 8 skit. It was like a figure 8 track, and on there, on the top portion of it was a way to score points to call the wall of death. It was a vertical wall. The higher you go on the wall, the more points you score. And the 3 alum that I know for sure that were in Rollerjam were Patsy Delgado, Rock and Ray Robles, and Little Richard Brown, who later on become King Richard Brown. And according to what Broadway Danny Wolf said, the production company went bankrupt. The production company of Roller Games went bankrupt, and there was no way they were going to take it on the world. There was no way that the Wall of Death would work even nowadays because of how heavy it was and how difficult it was to set up. Wouldn't work today. But at least that particular show is immortalized into 2 video games and a soundtrack. The 2 video games being an arcade, which was basically true to the show, and the let's use Chatty Chat Wakanda Mac over here. The other one being an NES game, which is basically a platform that plays absolutely nothing like the show. All you gotta do is play as the good guys and try to rescue the coaches, the good guy coaches, the face coaches, if you would, from the bad guy or the heel coaches. And it's a pop-up. Under it is Big Nasty. And at least one move would, and at least one roller derby move would make it onto Rollerjam that was used in Roller Games, which was the scrimmer, which basically a Luthez press. And the late great Mark DeMond would create another move, and that would be the Eliminator, which is basically a foot lock, when Mark DeMond will lay on his back and send a guy flying on his with his feet. And who could ever forget the times that his rival slash brother slash kayfabe brother, Sean Atkinson, would reverse it, hitting him in the nuts. That always cracked me up. Just when, as soon as you try to use the Eliminator, Sean Atkinson reverses, hits him in the nuts. Hilarious. Thought it was going to be a double play, huh? Late time to swing. I'm not thinking. Oh, had the distance, but it's well foul. Ah! Caught me looking. Caught me looking. Steve Morgan of Straight No Chaser. He's a member of Straight No Chaser, by the way. I'll leave Conor Mack in. Chatty chat with Conor Mack. They're going to be doing it? Yeah, pinch hitter. Randy Stein of Straight No Chaser. Big Danny and Abraham. 2 down here in the 7th. Kirsty Maldonado. One, two, three, go the Robins. Time to get up and stretch. And time for me to get a pinch hitter. That'll be it for Chatty Chat with Conor Mack. Armin Hutton. The bass of Street Corner Symphony. The Flame Martin. Sam the Flame Martin. He was on the last Zoom meeting. Very hip guy. He and his brother Micah were like Weber McDaniel. They remind me so much of the Hardy Boys. They're more of a Hardy Boys kind of feel, where the Martin brothers, and whereas I guess you could say McDaniel, Weber, basically the Edge and Christian of the group? Question mark? One out double here in the 7th. Captain America, Bill Barker. Imagine Cena versus Barker, them being the superhero good guy kind of personalities that they are, that they were when they were active. Runners at the corners with one gun, and in steps Malibu Stacy Bletch of the Bod Squad. I think I'm experiencing a lag here. Hang on. I think we're good now. Oh. Ball confusion. Now everybody's safe. Bases are loaded. See what Tim Washington can do. Big nasty. Mark D'Amato's right-hand man. I guess you could say he's the second in charge. Yes! One more is going to score, if not two. Maybe three. Yes! 4 ones are going to score on a double by Big Nasty. That's down 6-2 Sundogs. Denise Loden. Caleb Jones of Street Corner Surfer is going to be the new pitcher for the Robins. Yeah, Denise Loden, she once competed on American Gladiators back in 92-ish. I remember the time, this was brought up by somebody in the Facebook group Rollerjam, that there was an altercation between between her and Jazz and Ice. I think it was during a Breakthrough and Conquer event. I forgot who was in which. I think Jazz was in home run, 2-1 shot by Mark Webber. I think it was Ice in the Breakthrough portion and Jazz in the Conquer ring. But I could be wrong. She had an altercation with one. Loden had Denise, back when she was Denise Chase, she had like an altercation with one gladiator and then another. And I don't know who started it, but if Denise Lowe never makes it to the next Zoom meeting or the next Beyond the Jam, that's one of those questions I want to ask her. And maybe one of these days I want to ask Jazz and or Ice their side of the story here, so I can compare stories and who started what and who did what to whom and why they did that, under what conditions. But then again, someone recently showed an episode where she went to the Breakthrough and Conquer once again, and there's a reconciliation between Loden and Ice. Glad that they made up. Posse Shalene, he basically was the pretty boy of the group. Always liked to take off his shirt and a pop-up. Under it is Posse Shalene, the Shalene machine. Under it is Lindsey Francis, the Golden Girl. One of these days, and I think it was Bill Crane that brought it up. I could be wrong. If anybody is watching this right now, one of these days, once COVID eases up a little bit, that maybe we could do an in-person reunion, if you would, and sit down and get to know them. Sit down and get to know the fans and some of the alum. Abraham strikes again. Started off with the Enforcers, ended up with the Sundogs. And I'll never forget one episode where she did like brick breaking. Let's see, Shea Brown do. She did like brick breaking, each brick representing what the heel, oh, they dropped it. Fake me, they deep me, if you would. Each brick representing what the Enforcers, being the bad guys that they are, represented. Remind me so much of the God storyline with Shawn Michaels and the McMahons, leading up back in 2006, leading up to the match in WrestleMania 22. And they wanted to add that the thing was with Shawn Michaels and WWE Creative, they wanted to add Shawn Michaels' faith into their storyline, and I guess you could say that they did the same thing with Janet Abraham. Yeah, Shea Brown. North Carolina, come on, raise up. Being a Carolina girl. The Wrong Out pictures here. In steps Peter Hollins. First saw him over at the sing-off when he was competing with his college group on the Rocks. Now he's doing some great things in the acapella world. Big name in the acapella world. That's one out. I think the Sundogs are going to bat around. Deep drive, right field, homer. Great run shot by Big Nasty. 13-2 Sundogs. Pirates, not Pirates, the Sundogs bat around. Never seen this done in real life. Why did I swing at that? This will set the bar high. Closing this out is Karen Magnuson. The yogi said, ain't over till it's over. You never know with these guys. You never know when it comes to baseball. Steal. Strike him out. Throw him out. Jeremy Lister's your last hope. I think we're gonna do it. Rob Lundquist off home free. And that'll do it. Sundogs win. So there you have it, folks. Basically, that was what Big League Slugger Baseball was all about. Letting your creativity and your imagination run wild with your creating your own teams, your own logos, your own players, etc. Quick look at the stats. Basically one-sided there. Alright, that's going to do it for this edition of Captain's Arcade. This is Anthony Hart Captain saying, until we meet again, baby, say goodbye.